Chosen one, I need you to listen closely because what I am about to reveal is not a coincidence and it is not a flaw in your character. You have been carrying a heavy weight in your chest, a specific type of ache that remains even when the room is full of laughter and the table is surrounded by faces that claim to know you. You have wondered why you feel so incredibly lonely even when you are not alone. You have questioned if there is something broken within your ability to connect, or if you are simply destined to be an outsider in every circle you enter. Hear me clearly today, that loneliness is not a curse. It is a divine signal. It is the physical and emotional evidence of the spiritual separation I have placed upon your life. You feel lonely because you are being recalibrated for a frequency that the world around you cannot yet hear. I am touching the deepest parts of your heart today to show you that nothing about your isolation has been overlooked. I saw the moments when you smiled through a conversation while your spirit was screaming for depth that no one in the room could provide. I saw you drive home in silence after a night out, feeling more empty than when you left. I am restoring what social exhaustion tried to thin out, what the search for belonging tried to dull, and what the fear of rejection tried to weaken. This internal distance you feel is a sign that I am renewing you from the inside out. Your soul is refusing to settle for surface-level echoes because I have whispered a greater truth into your spirit. Do not ignore this feeling, and do not try to medicate it with more noise. This is your season of alignment. Your spirit is shifting, and I am pulling you away from the shallow waters so you can learn to swim in the deep. When anxiety weighed on you because you didn't fit in, it showed in your countenance. When the exhaustion of performing a version of yourself followed you, it marked your energy. I allowed you to feel the strain of these misaligned connections so you would finally understand how much you were carrying without asking for my help. You were trying to build bridges to people who were only equipped to live on islands. Now, I am lifting that weight, and your body is responding to my peace. This loneliness is not about abandonment, it is about restoration and visible evidence that I am near. I am the God who formed your soul with a specific complexity, and I do not make careless adjustments. When you noticed the conversation starting to feel hollow, the jokes losing their humor, and the interests of your peers feeling distant, it was not a mistake. I am recalibrating your heart, your mind, and your purpose. I am teaching you that when I renew you, I do it completely. Pay attention, because what begins as a feeling of being different or lonely will overflow into your calling and your greatest opportunities. You have cried in private about how tired you felt trying to belong. You wondered why your glow faded when you were around certain groups, and why the strength you once had seemed to vanish in the presence of those you called friends. I saw those silent tears. I counted them. I never left you in that fragile state without a plan. What you are experiencing now is the first layer of a deeper renewal that will touch your confidence. You are being separated from the noise so you can finally hear my voice clearly. Your loneliness is changing because the stress of performance is leaving your body. I am calming your nervous system and teaching you to breathe again without the fear of being too much or not enough. I am removing the pressure that came from trying to prove your worth to people who were never designed to see you. When that pressure leaves, your true growth returns. When my peace settles in, your original strength follows. I am also separating you from environments that drained you slowly, those places that smiled at you while quietly exhausting your spirit. Some conversations seemed harmless, but they were planting seeds of doubt and comparison. As I pull you away from what was never meant for you, your whole being will respond with relief. Your very appearance will reflect this relief because you are no longer fighting against the current of your own destiny. This is how I show you that you are chosen. I do not only bless your outer life, I bless your inner sanctuary. I care about how you feel when you wake up and how you see your reflection. I am rebuilding your self-image because you cannot step into your next assignment feeling small or invisible. There were days when you felt overlooked even while standing in the center of the crowd. I allowed that season to humble you, but never to break you. Now I am restoring what felt lost so you can stand again without the shame of being different. This internal shift is a reminder that I finish what I start. Do not dismiss your need for solitude as a weakness. Even the smallest transformation in your desire for quality over quantity carries my fingerprint. When you start to value the stillness, understand that it reflects internal healing. I am aligning your life with the promises I whispered to you during your darkest, loneliest nights. I am proving that what I heal fully. I am also preparing you for a new level of visibility. There is a moment coming when you will stand in rooms that once intimidated you, but you will not enter them seeking to belong. You will enter them to lead. You will speak with calm authority because you have found your validation in me, not in the applause of the crowd. Your presence will reflect the peace of the wilderness you survived. This is not about impressing others, it is about representing the work I have done in the secret place. You have been under spiritual pressure, and your soul carried the signs of that battle. But I have been fighting for you in ways you cannot see. I have been guarding your mind while you felt isolated and strengthening your heart when you felt rejected. Now the evidence is beginning to surface. As your social circle changes, let your thoughts change too. Stop speaking harshly about your social awkwardness or your inability to fit in. Stop replaying old criticisms from people who didn't have the capacity to understand your depth. Speak life over your solitude and thank me for the protection that loneliness has provided. Agreement with my voice will accelerate your transformation. You are not fading into obscurity, you are maturing in grace. You are not losing your edge, you are gaining depth. I am rewriting the narrative you believed about being an outcast and replacing it with the reality of being set apart. What you see in the mirror will begin to match the hope growing in your spirit. This is only the beginning of what I am restoring. When you ran yourself empty trying to meet the expectations of others, your spirit absorbed the strain. You smiled while carrying burdens that were never assigned to you. I watched you give beyond your limits to people who could never reciprocate. That season is over. I am teaching you that being chosen does not mean being a doormat. Your spirit is responding to the rest I am providing. When you sleep without rehearsing the day's social failures, your soul begins to mend. When you release the bitterness of being left out, your heart softens. I designed you as a whole being, and when your spirit finds relief from the need for external validation, your physical form follows. This is why these moments of isolation matter. There were words spoken over you that quietly shaped how you saw yourself, words that said you were too quiet, too sensitive, or hard to know. I am uprooting those lies now. As they lose power, your true strength returns. You are not defined by a lonely chapter. You are not limited by the exhaustion you once felt in social settings. I am giving you a new posture, one that reflects dignity and assurance. Your reflection will mirror this shift. As I restore you, I am also guarding you from subtle sources of stress that tried to attach themselves to you again. I am redirecting conversations and closing doors quietly to shield you from unnecessary conflict. Your soul senses this safety even before your mind understands it. There is deep spiritual symbolism in your current state. In the scriptures, the wilderness was never a place of punishment, it was a place of preparation. When I allow the noise to fade, I am reminding you that your covering is intact. You are not exposed to destruction, you are sheltered in my presence. My hand rests over you. You have wondered if you missed your moment because you weren't connected enough. Hear me, I am restoring what time seemed to steal. I am renewing what pressure seemed to weaken. Nothing that belongs to your destiny is lost. Do not mock the small signs of peace you feel when you are alone. Celebrate them. Gratitude creates alignment, and alignment creates acceleration. When you thank me for the peace found in solitude, you open your heart for a deeper transformation. I am teaching you patience because some growth is slow and steady. Some strengthening happens beneath the surface before it becomes obvious to the world. Do not compare your social timeline to anyone around you. I am working according to your story, not theirs. Your soul is not your enemy, it has been carrying you through battles you rarely acknowledged. Instead of criticizing your need for distance, honor it. I am breathing new vitality into you. There is a confidence returning that is not loud or boastful, it is calm and grounded. You will begin to walk into rooms without shrinking because you no longer need anything from the people inside them. You will stop adjusting your light to fit into spaces that were designed for darkness. I am restoring your identity. For a while, you identified with being the lonely one. That label is breaking off. I am building you into someone who carries quiet authority, someone who radiates steadiness and looks rested, not just physically, but spiritually. The change in your heart is a reflection of this deeper steadiness. Everything is interconnected. The stress of trying to belong affected your sleep affected your confidence affected your choices. Now that I am stabilizing your spirit, everything else begins to recalibrate. I am inviting you to slow down and stop the racing thoughts of missing out. You are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where my grace can reach you fully. There are blessings approaching that require you to be secure in yourself. I will place you in conversations where you must speak with clarity, and you cannot do that if you are still seeking approval. The renewal you are feeling is preparation for elevation. It is restoration before visibility. I do not promote you while you are still bleeding from the wounds of rejection. I heal you first. You are learning that my miracles are often subtle and steady. They show up in calmer responses and a lack of desire for drama. Do not demand a spectacle when I am offering you sustainability. As your inner resilience deepens, you will handle pressure differently. You will respond instead of react. You will pause instead of panic. This is maturity born from surrender. I am proud of how far you have come. Even when you doubted your worth because you were alone, you kept moving. I saw the courage hidden in your quiet endurance. Now I am rewarding that perseverance. Not because you earned it through suffering, but because I am faithful to those who trust me through seasons of confusion. Let this season of lonely remind you daily that I am near. When you find peace in the quiet, remember I am washing away the old stress. When you feel a new sense of self emerging, remember I am growing your influence. You are being restored for a purpose. There are people who will look at you in the future and feel hope because they see someone who is whole without being dependent. There was a time when every social setback felt like a personal failure. I am correcting that thinking. Change under my hand is transition, not loss. Your body has been listening to your anxious thoughts for years. When you carried worry like a companion, your system strained. I am loosening that pressure. I am teaching you to release control and trust my covering. I care about your well-being more than you do. I created your form and I sustain it. Every cell responds to my authority. When I decide it is time for your restoration, nothing can prevent it. You may not have realized how much emotional fatigue was caused by the wrong connections. You learned to function while drained. That silent endurance had a cost, and I am repaying it with renewal. I am reshaping your habits, guiding you toward better rest and sacred rhythms. When you follow my quiet nudges to stay in, to pray, or to simply be still, your spirit responds with gratitude. There were moments when you looked at others and felt disappointed in yourself. You compared your quiet life to their busy ones. I am not taking you backward to that noise. I am bringing you forward into a stronger version of yourself that carries wisdom. You are not meant to chase popularity in fear, you are meant to walk in grace with assurance. When your heart grows healthier in the quiet, it is not about reclaiming the past, it is about reflecting the peace of your present. I am grounding you in acceptance. There was spiritual warfare targeted at your identity, whispering that you were unwanted. I am silencing those whispers with proof of my favor. The growth you see in your character is my answer to your prayers. I am strengthening your confidence in private before I increase your influence in public. You will soon stand in rooms and lead conversations with a steadiness that surprises you. That steadiness is forming now. As I restore your spirit, I am restoring your sense of worth. You will no longer shrink when others project their insecurities onto you. You will no longer accept treatment that drains your soul. You are learning to guard your energy with wisdom, choosing peace over performance. You are learning to say no without the fear of being disliked. These lessons are protecting your future. The renewal in your spirit is linked to the renewal of your boundaries. When you protect your peace, your whole life thrives. This is not random, It is alignment with my design. Notice how differently you feel. Your thoughts are calmer, your reactions are wiser, and your sleep is deeper. These are the signs of my hand. Trust the direction I am leading you. Even if the path feels solitary right now, it is safe. Your value has never been tied to the number of people around you. Your beauty flows from your spirit, and when your spirit is strengthened, even your physical presence reflects it. You are entering a time where people will notice a shift in your aura. They will sense calm where there used to be tension. I am preparing you for elevation that requires visibility, but you will not feel exposed because you will be covered by me. I have been patient with your process. I did not rush you into the spotlight before you were ready to handle the pressure. I allowed the healing to deepen first. The enemy tried to convince you that your isolation was permanent. I allowed that lie to surface so I could dismantle it. Now you are watching restoration unfold. You are not losing vibrancy, you are gaining resilience. Everything is possible for those who stay close to me. Continue inviting me into your quiet moments. Whisper gratitude when you feel the peace. I respond to hearts that acknowledge my presence. You are chosen because you were willing to walk alone with me. You are favored because you trusted me through the silence. I am honoring that trust now and forever. If this revelation touched your heart, do not let this light stop with you. Carry this message to another chosen soul who is currently struggling in the shadows of isolation. Give this video a like to anchor this prophecy into your life, and comment, "My solitude is divine," to welcome your complete spiritual and physical renewal tonight. Your time of being hidden is over. Amen.